Okay, AJ, I think that we have to be wrapping up.
Yes.
We are out of time, and you know, time is what we have.
Yes.
We don't have all day. And before you go, though, I want you to, in your final message to the people, if you can touch on, there was a recent pronouncement by the Privy Council in the well-publicized Boundaries case. Remember, that went all the way up to England and was determined by the Lords there at the Privy Council. Could you give us a sort of a synopsis of what that ruling, that pronouncement by the Privy Council was about? Many people don't know about it.
Yeah. I take it you're speaking about the process of boundary changes.
That is correct.
That occurred. The Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis provides for a Boundaries Commission to be put in place with every term and to review boundaries, constituency boundaries throughout the country. Boundaries, according to the Constitution, should not be changed in less than 2 years and not more than 5 years. And there are some who challenge the question of not more than 5, because since about the 1980s, there have been no changes to the boundaries in St. Kitts and Nevis. And there has been increases in population, movements, migration of people from one area to another. And so the concept is that, according to the Constitution, we should have near equal numbers in each constituency to give balance, so that a representative, say, in a particular constituency, should have the same number of constituents to look after than representatives in another constituency. So from one of equality and fairness, there should be balance across constituencies. And so we have been trying now for a number of years to get a proper balance of constituent changes, to make sure that it can, because they're out of whack. They are out of whack and they need to be rationalized. The question is, how do you go about it? And the process has been somewhat flawed. In 2009 it was attempted, it was struck down. Again, the government of the day came and tried to do it again through the back door. And it was also abandoned at the last minute. And since August 2012, there was this current, where the last administration attempted to change the boundaries. And that process went through until September of 2013, 2014, I think it was. And those boundaries were also, those boundary changes, when they went before the court, were also struck down as being unconstitutional. The procedure, the process by which it was done, was unfair. And so the government of the Douglas tried again to change the boundaries. And so we ran out of time, more or less. And came to January, the last week before January 16th, when a report was published. I happened to be a member of the Boundaries Commission, along with Premier Vance Amory for the opposition. And on the opposite side was the Honorable Marcel Lalaibad and Honorable Hassan Martin. Chairman of the commission was my friend Peter Jenkins.
Yes.
And so there was this report that was published. I disagreed with it. I don't think it was a fair report. It was not handled properly. And the process is what was unfair. For instance, a very simple thing that to me, anyone who would follow the process would know was a problem. I didn't see a map of what the boundary changes were until 2 to 3 days before the report was actually went to Parliament. So that whereas you may speak in general terms about lines and so on, it's not only when you see it. I'll give a simple example. The boundaries between Constitution number 1 and Constitution number 2 is a line to the middle of 4th Street, to Victoria Road, and until it goes to the parish boundary. Now where does that line go? If you reach up by Moravian Church, a line to the parish boundary is where? It cuts through various tailors, New Road. What side of New Road? Which house is on which side of the line? Okay, so that is what the description has been since the 1980s. And it cannot clearly tell you who is on what side. I saw a map depicting what the line should be on the 13th of January. The report went to Parliament on the 16th. In other words, I had no opportunity to comment on it or anything of that nature. And I really don't even know at this point who actually prepared such a map. And I could go to other constituencies where that happened.
Okay.
So that the process was a problem.
Yes.
But I think that we challenged the report because not only was the report bad, but we then went to Parliament and went to court to stop it being done because the procedure to the Parliament was flawed.
Yes.
And so we asked for an injunction. The fight to the Privy Council was whether the injunction should be in place or not. The injunction has been kept in place by the Privy Council to stop those changes, what we went to court with. So that is initially it. What I will say is that we now know that the High Court in St. Kitts and Nevis will hear and determine whether that report was good or bad on January 2016. And we'll hear more about
But the
that.
Privy Council awarded cost.
The Privy Council would have awarded costs to those who challenged.
They have to pay.
Those who challenged the Privy Council, that is, Team Unity, wanted the Privy Council to uphold the injunction that had been recently given. And so Team Unity will now have to be paid costs by those who had been opposing it.
Right.
Okay.
And that was a recent pronouncement of the Privy Council.
That's right.
1 minute, Age. There was something you wanted to say before I take 1 minute before I wrap up. Were you indicating something?
Yes, I was talking to
We're really out of time.
I know. I just quickly wanted to mention about Jamdown. He had asked about the Coast Guard flagship.
Right.
And just to tell people that, sure, the Stalwart has been the flagship of the Coast Guard from the 1980s. It's a major vessel that needs repairs to be completed in the engine and so on. I would say further though that we do have Coast Guard assets in place that are operational, and they do patrol our borders. But remember, we have large borders, very limited resources and porous. And we would expect that the Stalwart will be back in the waters early in the new year to be able to act as it was, as a station from which these smaller vessels can also do the work that they have. But I agree with Jamdown that we need to get it back in the water, and we need to be following what is happening on the borders.
Sure. And there we had it, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for tuning in again to another Working for You, the most popular program in St. Kitts and Nevis. We want to thank the Honorable Attorney General for being with us today, for taking time out of his busy schedule to address the issues and the concerns that you have. Now, next week, we will be back. And remember that we have a rebroadcast on Freedom tomorrow morning from 7:30 to 9 a.m. and then on Von Radio from 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is tomorrow. Now, thank you very much again. I am your host, Lesroy Williams. I'll see you next week. Good day.
Working for You. a weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for your ears weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for you.